Yeah, started.
Mhm. Yeah, so good morning, everyone, and welcome to MuleSoft Mysore Meetup group. So, thank you all for taking out your time and joining today's session. So, today we have very interesting topic related to payment integration. So, we are going to see like how we can integrate Braintree with our MuleSoft. And today we have our speaker Rajiv and Abhishek, who is going to demonstrate and walk us through the topic. So, for your information, this session is recorded for your future reference. And if you're looking for some old recordings or the recent one, you can check out our YouTube and Mysore page for your reference. And let's learn together. And feel free to unmute yourself and ask question in case of any question you have. And you can also put your question to the chat box. So before we start, let me introduce you all to the organizer of Meetup, like Mysore Meetup group. So we have Shubham here, who is currently working with Bilinium as a integration developer, and he's having almost 4 years of experience. And then we have Giridhar Meka, who is currently working with Hasdin as a technology architect. And here I am Priya. I'm currently working with LTI Mindtree as a senior software specialist. So now it's time for you to know our speaker. So we have Rajiv and Abhishek here. So it is their first session as a speaker. So I would like to give them this opportunity to introduce themselves to the community. So Rajiv, can you start
Okay,
with your?
thanks. Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. So, do you want me to share my screen or?
Yeah, you can.
Okay, let me know if able to see.
Yeah, it is visible.
So, very good afternoon, all. It is very warm welcome to you. So, this is my first as a speaker in this meetup. So, as you can say, so I'm working as a currently into LTI Mindtree as a technical architect. Okay, and I'm Mule, Tipco, Boomi, so almost more than 1 decade experience into the integrations. Okay, so which include the various multiple types of the domain like telecom, banking, retail, travel, and hospitality, life science. Okay, where I have given my experience by using this Mule, Tipco, as well as the Dell Boomi. Okay, and I am also certified in all. Okay, so hope that is brief about myself. I'm moving to the Abhishek. So, Abhishek, you can take ahead.
Yeah, sure, Rajiv. So, good afternoon, everyone. So, welcome to the session. So, even this is my first session as a speaker. So, I'm currently working with LTI Mindtree. I have a relevant 3 years of experience in MuleSoft domain, and as well as I'm certified MCD level 1 in MuleSoft. So,
Thank you, Abhishek.
yeah, thank you, Rajiv.
Thank you. Okay, so Priya, I'm good to take it from here.
Yeah.
Rajiv, can you just hide
Hmm?
this pop-up? Just click on this hide and we're good.
Oh, this one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're good.
Okay.
Okay.
Now good.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so today in this session we are going to discuss about and about some the very high level overview of the like payment. Okay, because we know all whether it is the web based or mobile based, everywhere in every our daily life, somewhere we are going to interact with the payment gateway. Okay, whether it is the online shoppings. Okay, or maybe we are going to also do the like mobile based. Okay, so just like how that is going to possible through the this by using the MuleSoft. Okay, and here as a payment gateway we have chosen to showcase this demo, that is the PayPal. Okay, so PayPal, we all know it is the payments service providers. Okay, but the gateway which the PayPal is used, that is called the Braintree. Okay, so Braintree was, I think we will going to see how the Braintree was founded, what is the underlying architectures about that. Okay, so before going to this, we will see like whenever we do the any transactions related with the payments. Okay, so the overview of the successful transaction lifestyle we can able to see like it is the in the four stages. Okay, one we call the authorized, which means that when the amount we wanted to do the payment. okay, by using our credit card or by using our gift card, anything. So that payment must be authorized. So the authorization process is nothing but it is the some kind of the your background check happens in the backend process, whether you have the sufficient amount or not, whether you are using the valid card details or not, okay, and whether you are the listed as a fraud customers or not. So this all happens, okay. Then the payment provider is going to authorize the this banking, okay, yeah, this is all good, means on the basis of certain credit score, and they are going to authorized, means the payment is debited from your bank account, and that is going to keep into the your payment provider for authorized. So once the authorizations happens, on the basis of that, it could happen anything, okay. It could be the cancelled, but in the successful transactions life cycles, it is going to submit for the settlement, okay, which means either it is the manual one, okay, someone from the payment provider is going to immediately do as a settlement, and settlement is towards the merchant account, or maybe it is the batch process as the payment provider end, which is going to collect on the basis of certain criteria to keep all the payments, and it is going to run the batch process to make it as a settlement. Once that is going to pick for the settlement, so that process is called settling, means your settlement is happening from the bank, your payment providers to the merchant account. This process is happening, okay. Once it is going to credited into the merchant account on behalf of which the payment has been made, that is called the settled. So that is we see the successful life cycles, okay. If you deep dive into little bit more, okay, so how this is going to carried out overall, okay. So in between these all the sets, see authorization transactions, okay, authorized submit for settlement, there are lot many process which is the small, okay. I have just captured the high level or very high level which we can able to at least visualize the things, okay. So suppose we started the new transactions here, okay. So first transaction is going to authorizing transactions, okay, which means that I'm talking about the credit check is happening, okay, whether you was valid customer or valid card or sufficient amount. If it is suppose during the authorization transactions, if it is got the credit score is your low, it is going to fail, okay. We have seen this or we have already experienced in our daily life. If it is going to sometimes happens like there is, I think, because of the server issues, okay, or maybe the authorizations was declined, okay, this could be also possible, okay. So out of these two, if we haven't encountered, which means we got the success, which means our amount is authorized, means we are good to proceed further. So once it is authorized, we can able to void this. Void means cancel this. Okay. So that is called the cancellations of the authorized amount. Okay. So each step has the prerequisite. Means suppose if the authorization transaction and this is the authorization declined, then we cannot raise the request to make it as a cancelled because it will be the automatic settlement going to happen. Okay. Sometime instantly, sometime one day. So if suppose you want to make it cancelled, so prerequisite is that transactions must be authorized. Then only you can cancel it. Okay. Once the authorizations happened, means it is submit for settlement. So till now, if it is submit for settlement, you can also able to cancel it. That is also possible. Okay. Once the amount is settled, then you want to make it cancels, you can able to cancel, but that will be going through the refunded, okay, which means that once you raise the refund process, okay, again some they are going to make the cancels, and again this settlement process is going to happen from merchant account to your customer account. Okay. So broadly we classified any transactions into very high levels of these many steps. In between there are lots of many. Okay. So feel free to pitch in if you have any questions or anything we need to discuss here. Okay.
Yeah, Rajiv, we
So
are good.
okay. Yeah, thank you. So moving. Okay. So here we are going to see this, all the steps whatever we have discussed by using through the Braintree gateway. Okay, so let first, before going to, let's see the what Braintree. Okay, so Braintree was actually, it was the independent organizations which was founded into 2007. Okay, and this is was the underlying architecture to deal with. It uses the GraphQL. Okay, and we hope we all are aware about the GraphQL very well when this Facebook like came into our usage. So because they use this GraphQL. Okay, so it is the, I think, the full stack, the payment platform. Why we say the full stack? Because it can able to deal with the your wallets, okay, your subscription based, recurring based, okay, card based, and it support the various kinds of the card, whether Visa, Master, like this kind of anything is going to. Okay, and here you can see the some of the key features we have highlighted for the Braintree, which is the payment gateway. Okay, you can able to configure also the n number of the merchant accounts. Okay, and I said the multiple payment methods are there, recurring billing. Security has also, like you can the IP based. Okay, if suppose someone has like, oh, Mule is not there, and suppose the Salesforce is there, and Salesforce directly wanted to connect without the Mule connector, it has also the capability of to use this Catrace, which is called like the, we also used to say the SDK. Okay, through that on also we can be able to connect it. Okay, moving to this. Okay, so now we are going to discuss with the Braintree connectors. Okay. So in Mule, like we that to connect with the Braintree, it has already, like with the collaboration of the Braintree team and the MuleSoft, they have discussed, like they have designed and developed the connectors for it. Because whenever you are going to deal with the GraphQL, in the, I think it's not the quite straight. Okay, you have to know the little bit of GraphQL, but when you are converted that GraphQL into as a wrapper of the connector, it's quite easy, and I think the development or these things will be very efficient to use it. Okay, so they have the MuleSoft has given the Braintree connectors, okay, through which we can interface with the Braintree API. But underlying is they are using also the GraphQL. Okay, so by using these connectors, you can able to collect the payment informations from the customers. Okay, and you can able to support the entire like life cycle of the transactions. You can create the customer, you can create the payment, you can create the transaction sales, you can settle refund, whatever the as part of this payment transactions life cycle we can able to achieve it. Okay, so there are certain key features about these connectors. Okay, we can able to do the payment related processings, we can also able to do the transaction related subscription. Okay, customer management, we can also have the as of now the web hook capability is not there, so they are working. It will be going to come soon, and it will be the secure integrations. So here it is already linked it to our the exchange. Okay, we can able to go through that, and you can see it. Okay, so it is free of cost, you can, anyone can going to use it. Okay, it is also have these features, like suppose as per your requirement something need to customize. Okay, and some additional feature is required to add into the connector, we need to connect with the MuleSoft. First Braintree is going to connect with the MuleSoft, and they will, I think, release the new versions with your changes. As per, for that they are going to charge the cost. Okay, but now for the basic one it is free of cost. Okay, and it is good to use. It is also recommended by Braintree or Salesforce. No licensing is needed, means at the enterprise level we are good to use it. Okay, coming to here Sandbox. Okay, so let me show this Sandbox here, how we can able to see. So as of now, it is free of cost, we can use the Braintree Sandbox. Okay, and in this Sandbox we can able to, I think, few of the key features or key aspects we can able to explore. That is, you can able to simulate the real time transactions. Okay, here no real money is involved. Okay, just you have to use the some of the, it's already free credit card, Amex card, Visa card, whatever you have to use. Okay, and I think yeah, in the Braintree document itself, they are going to give some set of the test card details which we can be able to play, and one of the test card details we are going to use as part of this demo. Okay, we can be able to test various scenario. Okay, and this is only for the sandbox. If you have to go for the productions, means there will be the licenses required. Okay, and we can be able to do the API testing. So whatever we are going to do with the connector, it has the full fledged facility also available through the sandbox. Means suppose if you are want to create the customers in the sandbox by using the GUI based, you can also be able to create it. Okay, so now if we're going to see this, let me show. Yeah, so this is the what sign up for the sandbox. We can, so just first name, last name, company name, your locations and email address. Okay, you have to do it. Okay, it is going to send some of the OTP or verifications on your registered email address. After that they can able to, so we have already created. Okay, so I just wanted to go through it. So to connect with this Braintree Sandbox, either you need the PayPal account or you need the Braintree account. Any one account is there, we can be able to give it. So PayPal is nothing which is working backend of the this Braintree. Okay, so this is the gateway for the PayPal. Okay, so here you can see like how this what you can say, the like the transaction management. It has also the vault. Okay, which means the customers, the card details they are going to store here. It has also the subscription based. Okay, the authentication based, if you see here, so I have created one of the my merchant. If you see, that is the enabled here API. So whenever we need to make the connection, establish the connection with the this Braintree gateway, means we have this various ways by using the sandbox API keys. So by using the API keys means here we have to use it, the public key, private key. Okay, the environment is sandbox and this is the merchant account. So these combinations we need to provide if you have to connect with the by using the client library or the API keys. Okay, so by using that we can be able to connect, and here as part of this demo we are going to use this one only. It has also the on the basis of tokenizations key we can able to connect. Okay, and here the client side encryptions, if it is required we can able to also use this. Okay, webhook is still their development. Okay, so they are still working on as part of the some things like the order got cancelled and the refund is happening. So at this moment against the transaction ID you have to do the explicit find or search, then you have to you come to know, but soon they are going to release with the webhook. Okay, as part of the security they have the also limitation of the auth. Okay, so they are still working. Okay, but they allow us by using the IP and hostname restrictions. Okay, so along with the API keys plus this security options we can able to connect it. Okay, yeah, so here we are I think I will hand over these things to the Abhishek. Okay, so we are going to see the what are the basic transactions. Okay, as part of this brain tree, like the customer creation, payment creations. Okay, we are going to create the transactions. Okay, how we can find the transactions, how we can do the full settlement, how we can do the partial settlement, how we can do the refund, so that we all we are going to see this. Okay, and meanwhile I will wanted to show as part of this. So there are some things we have already created as part of our testing. So for few test cases we are going to use that one. So suppose in vault we have the already few customers. Okay, here you can able to see. Okay, so how we can able to search the transactions or like, so this is the vault. Okay, so whatever we are going to create the customer, they are going to we will search here and we will see what all details we are going to like pro- provided through the postman as a client, and what all is visible, how they are going to interrelated this all. So as part of the demo we are going to see this. Yeah, Abhishek. So I think you are good to share your screen and
Yeah, sure, Ajay.
yeah. And before going to any questions, so I think we can go to on the basis of this overview or concept we can able to discuss. I think all good. So maybe at the during the demo we'll take it. Yeah.
Yeah. So I hope the screen is visible to everyone.
Yes.
Yeah.
For me, yeah. And just I think hide this. One of the this is showing. Yeah.
Yeah, so here I'll just take you through some basic transactions and the implementation to the code which we have done. So it's basically divided in three parts. So there are certain customer functions we have performed, payment function and transaction functions. So the flows are as seen on the screen. They are straight away flows. We are just using the connectors to do all the possible functions through the Braintree portal. So let me take you through the first this one, the first function, which is nothing but the customer create. We have just used the connector over here. The Braintree provides the connector to creation of the custom code level. This can be even done in Braintree Sandbox as well. But so the basic configuration which we need to provide is that once you initialize drag and drop the Braintree connector. These are certain things which should be provided by the Braintree sandbox. There's nothing but the merchant ID should be configured here, the public key and the private key, and the environment should be set to sandbox as we are using a free version. So this can be changed to production if we had taken the license from the Braintree. So this is one of the configuration part. And if I come back to the code level, just a minute. Okay. So we are going to hit this flow with a postman. So as we can see that there is a mapping directly done over here. We have already set up a example request body. So here we could just specify the ID, the first name of the customer, which we are going to create, the last name, the email, the phone, and rest of the details. So for this function, we are not going to create any payment type for this. So we are just going to see how the customer is going to get created. So let me go to the creation of the customer to the postman. So let me take up a name. So let me go with a name Abhiranjan new, and rest of the details are as provided. Just make sure that the customer ID you are providing is to be unique so that it does not throw up an error saying that the customer ID does exist. So let me go with 1200 for now, and rest of the details are as specified. It's just an example request body. So we can see over here the first name, the last name, the email addresses, billing address, delivery, rest of the things. So when we hit through
Yeah.
the
So in this, so we are not sending any payment details.
yeah
Okay. We are just sending the customer informations. So we will see into the sandbox how it is going to create it. So every call which is happening to the this, it is the post call. Okay. And whether it is success or failure, every time we are going to get as 200 as a okay. But the last entry, one of the last fields, which is the success true, which is going to identify whether that actual transaction has been actually got processed at the Braintree or PayPal end or not. So if success true means it is okay, and success false means something error out.
yeah. So as we can see this happy path over here, it says that customer is created. So let me show you a part where it fails as well. So let me hit the flow again. So as you can see, the status code is always 200. Okay, but as you can see over here, the success is fail, the false. So this specifies as there is an error and there is a message that has been provided saying that the customer ID has already been taken. So this is the thing in the failure scenario where we can list out as it doesn't throw any different status code for an error path. So this is one of that. And as we have created a customer with this one, so let me take you to the sandbox. So as you can see that there is a new customer created with an ID 1200, name Abhiranjan Mule.
Just open it, no?
Yeah,
Yeah.
with the email, the phone number, and the company website. And there is no payment method. I recorded it in this
Yeah.
with the address and everything.
Yeah,
So
and don't be confused with the go scroll up.
yeah,
Yeah, so here you can already see the payment method. Okay, so don't confuse it, because you can see this is the one of the as part of the testings. Okay, actually we put one of the credit card into our vault, so this is going to appear for each and every, so that is the default payment. Okay, but we will see we are not going to use any transactions against this AMX. Okay, so we will use uh, we are going to use the different cards, okay, on which we will play out the transaction. So that is for each and every transactions. Whenever we do it, is like especially for the customer creations, it creates one of the default payment methods. Okay, and I don't think we have access to remove this from the vault. Okay, so it will be going to there, but we will see in our subsequent we are not going to make any transaction over there. So as part of the payment processing, we are going to introduce the new card. Yeah.
yeah. So the next flow which we are going to find out is that we are going to find our customer. So basically, when we create a customer, the unique identifier for the customer will be the customer ID. So with help of that, we are going to find the customer from the vault through the code. So when we find a customer, we have defined it as an query params with customer ID. So as we have created the customer with a customer ID 1200, this will be the unique identifier for our customer. So we can just pass the ID over here, and we can see that we have got all the information related to that customer with just the customer ID. The name as Aviranjan, the ID, the rest of the details like the phone, the address, the locality, rest of all the details over here. And as per the implementation, it's a direct connector that has been provided by Braintree called as customer find. We just need to involve it in a flow and just provide the customer ID in customer ID section. So the next function which we could go for is similar to the above one, where we are going to find the customer with respect to its first name. So let me take the same, pass it over here as a string, and we're going to find all that customer. The only change for this, the difference that creates from customer find and customer search is that, okay, so the customer search, the only difference we are gonna do is that we need to add an additional field over here. In general customer, we are going to edit this field in inline, then the customer field inline, and we have to provide whatever the field you are going to search it out in a flow. Like say I'm going to search from first name or say last name. So if I'm going to set first name and you want it to be precise, then you can select its ease. Or if you're going to find a certain string which contains according to the requirement, we are going to select through the required options. So we are going to go with ease, and the search string you are going to pass, which can be in this flow set dynamically, which we are passing through query params. So this is the only change which has to be done from customer search and find customer. I hope that's clear, right?
Yeah, I think customer find is only on the basis of the ID,
Yeah.
and here the customer search, I think it is the range of the criterias which are available, and on the basis of that we can able to search. Maybe on the basis of if you select the payment method tag here into the customer search payment method, yeah, in the left hand side.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, payment method. So here, like suppose any customers, like I wanted to know like list of the all the customers who have done some payment by using the Amex cards. Okay, so by using this criteria also we can be able to do the search. So it has the range of the criteria by using the payment, by using the customer related informations. Just select here none, yeah,
Yeah.
just go to the edit inline, select it, yeah. So here you can see, yeah. Yeah, so you can see the card holder name, credit card number, expiration date. Okay, so these are the also which are available, like PayPal account, email, payment method token. So on the basis of this also we can be able to search it. Okay, so it has the range of the things by using which we can implement the our search.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Okay, so the next function which we are going to take up is that we are going to update the customer details inside over here. Just passing, let me take up the ID once again. 200. So whatever, like consider that I'm going to update the customer's email and phone number. As we can see it over here, the email currently is techcompilation@gmail.com. So here I'm going to make it, we are going to change the email and phone number of the customer with respect to its unique identifier as a use customer ID. So once I put in the request, so yeah, I'm going to get a response and say just watch out for a key success, which is true. So let me take you back to this and refresh the page. As we can see that the email has been changed. So this specifically is used to update the customer info, and this is just a direct connector provided with all the details required to be updated, which can be as per the requirements in the flow. So here we are just updating the email and phone number. So we have specified only those two fields. Is one of the function, and the next one which we are going to deal with is delete a customer. So in a scenario where we no longer lead this customer or this customer has its work is done, so we're just going to pass its ID as a unique identifier, and we are going to delete this customer. So now, as we can see that he cannot find the page, so I'm just going to navigate to the wall. Just give me a minute. As we can see that Aviranjan will has been removed, so the deletion of the customer has been successful. I hope there are no doubts till here.
Yeah, we say go ahead, please.
Yeah, sure. So these are the functions related to customer. So let me take you to the payment section where we are going to update the payment and delete the payment and create a payment. So let me take you to the code first. Okay. So here, as we have done that, so in the creation of the payment, we require a customer as well, so that we could link the payment to that customer. So we are just basically creating a customer over here with the connector customer create with all the basic details provided as we have seen in the above flow. And we are going to create a method with respect to that same customer. So once we get the response from the customer, as we can see over here, we are going to get a customer ID which we have specified. Just a minute. Yeah. So this one. So with respect to that, we are going to pass the customer ID over here. So the connector understands that this payment method should be linked to this customer. And with respect to that, we are going to create the payment ID. So in the payment method section, we could fill the cardholder's name, the number, the CVV, the expiration month, and the expiration year with respect to the card. So we can see it over here. I'm going to create a customer for, and then create a payment method with respect to that. Let
And
me,
what is the card we are going to use, Abhishek? Just show me the
yeah,
card
just
details.
a minute.
Yeah, so that is the some different card we are going to
Yeah,
use. Okay. Yeah.
a different card, which is a demo card.
Mm.
Okay, so let me take up the same name which I've been doing in the previous one. So as we can see it over here, the customer ID is already taken. Okay, 2, 3, 4. Go with this. Yeah. So as you can see, that success is true. That implies that the customer should be created, and with respect to that customer, a payment should be created. So let us check that in the vault. You can see that a customer is created with the name Abhiranjan Mule with the ID 1234. With respect to that, we can see that there is a payment method created as well with a card number which we have specified. Let me take you to this and all the details with respect to the payment.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, and the address is as specified from the payload. So the next action which we would do is that we would update the payment in case if there is we any scenario where you need to update the payment. Say that you need to update the cardholder name, the card number, or the complete payment details of the customer has to be updated. So in this scenario, we need to just here whatever the transactions or the functions you are going to perform with respect to payment. So this is the identifier for that. This is the token, payment token, which is the identifier and used as a unique parameter to perform all the functions related to payment to the specific customer. So we are going to pass that over here. Let me show you the payment before. As we can see, the cardholder name is Amar Ranjan, credit card, and the number ends with 1881, expiration date, and everything over here. And here we are going to change the cardholder name to Mule ESP and the cardholder number as well as all the details. So let me hit the endpoint. So as we can see that it's successful. Let us see whether it replicates on the portal. As we can see that the complete payment object has been updated with the new details which has been provided by us. So this function we can use to update the payment details of a required customer, and that can be done with the connector provided by the Braintree. Is nothing but payment method update, where you are going to specify the fields which need to be updated, and you can see that I have mentioned whatever you are going to do, it's dependent on the token, which is nothing but the unique identifier for the payment. So that token has been passed over here in the token section, and rest of the details has been passed to the payment method, the updated details. So which specifies that conveys the connector that this with respect to this payment method, you need to update these details. Okay, hope I'm clear over here. Let If there is a certain payment you need to delete, like example, we need to delete the same payment. Whatever we have to perform the operation of the payment has to be done by the unique payment ID. So let me pass that email ID. The payment ID over here. Okay, so the payment should be deleted. Back to the customer. Let me refresh it. As we can see that the payment method is no more.
Yeah, so maybe I think I will pitch in into the what is the use case scenario. Sometimes happens like whenever we have added the products in our cart. Okay, if we are purchasing the some things. Okay, so at that times there is some temporary reservation is going to hold in your backend system into the order management system to give certain times of the reservations against your order, which means that or you are doing the payment, so they are going to hold that product for you, okay, for the certain times, which means that the customer is doing the payment, so I need to hold for a certain times. Okay, or maybe we have during the, I think the sale times we have already seen. I think once we do the add the product into the our card, they give us the timer is going to start. Okay, okay, in this stipulated time like 5 minutes, 10 minutes, if you are not going to do the payment, this product is going to expire or it is going to remove from that. Okay, so in certain times happens like when the customer info, the product info is going to added into their Braintree, but while you are doing the payment method is not there. Okay, once you are doing the completing the payment method, at that times it is going to link that with that customer ID, and we are going to update the payment method through the online or through the card that is happening.
Okay, thank you, Raji, for the info. So let me. So I hope we are clear till here. We have done the customer operations, the payment operations as well. There are no doubts, I suppose, I guess. So let me proceed with the last one. That's nothing but the transactions which we'll look into. So once the payment method is created, as we can see in a scenario, we are going to initiate a transaction, right? To purchase something, we need a certain amount to be initiated for the payment. So with respect to that, there is a connector provided by the Braintree, which we can see it as a transaction sale. Where to initiate a transaction, we here inside the flow, what we are doing is that we are creating a customer. We would be getting a unique ID for the customer, which we are mapping it to the payment as well as to the transaction, so that the connector identifies that this payment method from where the transaction has to be initiated for which customer. So the mapping between them is similar to what we have done in the previous flow. We have just taken the customer ID, which has been mapped inside customer section. And then if we go to the general one, here we are going to specify the amount, which we are for now passing it through the payload. Say, as you can see here, the amount we are going to pass is 560, and the order ID and purchase order number and all the rest of the details are passed to the payload. So here, let me go to the first one. Going to create three zero zero. We see that the flow has been successfully executed. Let me take you through the vault. As you can see, there is a customer created, Aviranjan Mule, with the new ID 1300. So here, so as we can see, there is a payment method that has been created. There's a default one with the card, and we could see that in the past we have seen that there was no transaction for the payment method, where it is to initialize the transaction field as 0. But now we could see there is one transaction which has been done with this payment method. So the transactions we could see in the transaction sections, you can specify to see all the transactions, as the sandbox only specifies to show you last 10 transactions which has been performed by the customer with the payment method. And as for the payment section is considered, we used to follow this token to perform all the operations on the payment, which implies over here as well. Here, the unique identifier for the transaction is nothing but the ID, which is nothing but the transaction ID that has been given over here. So whatever the operations to be performed on the transaction on the later part of the execution should be done on this transaction ID. So the transaction, as we can see over here, with an ID F19B1 PMT, it specifies that the type is sale, the status is authorized, and the amount specified is 560 USD. And these are the details at what the time the transaction was created. For more details, you could go to the transaction details. It would provide you the complete details regarding this. Is there anything else, Raj, you would like to
Just
mention?
go to the into the transactions. Yeah,
Yes.
search. Do the search. Go to the transactions. Yeah. No, 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 not here. Into the tab, the home after this, yeah, transactions. Yeah, click on that. Yeah, just search, select the status all. So this is the way by which we can able to search all the status of the transactions. Okay, and here the on the basis of date range. Yeah, okay. Scroll down. Yeah. So which one? That is the first one. Okay. Just
Yes,
click
sir.
on this transaction ID. Yeah. Just scroll down. Yeah, scroll down. So here you can see against this transaction ID we have the customer informations. Okay, as well as we have the payment informations. Here we can see this is the transaction origin, e-commerce, payment type is credit card. Scroll down. Here is the billing, and here is the history. Okay, so for any transaction, history is very important, because here only we can see how the one transactions is getting converted or transformed into the another state. So currently means it is authorized, means the customer, the card details, the amount, all are good. Okay, now it is good to proceed. If you go on the top of that, scroll up. Yeah, so in this sandbox, as a scroll up mode. Yeah, so you can see here. Okay, we have this flexibility by yeah, just stick here. We have this flexibility here in the sandbox itself. We can able to receive it. Okay, we can able to void this also. Okay, sometimes happen it is authorized. Okay, and someone called the customer care ki, okay, ki, although I have made the payment but I have changed my mind, I need to cancel it. So the I think the customer executive, or though they have this access to the sandbox, they can go directly and they can perform this operation as well into the sandbox. So in the sandbox it has also this feature. So if you're going to click on void, it is going to cancel these transactions. And scroll down. Yeah, and here you can also see it has also the feature of the submit for settlement, which means that, like, suppose if you want to do the entire amount settlements, means from that amount is already into the payment providers. Okay, so from into the merchant account, if you want to do the settles, just click on submit for settlement. Okay, if you want to do the partial settlement, okay, suppose out of something 560 due to any constants, or maybe against these transactions, if you cancel one order, okay, and out of that 100 you are going to get and 460 you have to settle. So here you can do the as well as the partial settlement as well. This is the reason this text box is enabled, means we can do the partial settlement as well as the full settlement. But here we are not going to do this. We are going to see this through the connector. Go ahead, Abhishek.
Yeah, thank you, Rajiv, for the info. So, whatever Rajiv has mentioned, so let us take those just a while after this. So, in case you need to find the transaction which has been done, so as I have mentioned that whatever the transaction you are going to find or you are going to perform, this is the unique identifier for that. So, to find the transaction, we need to take this transaction ID and pass it as an uh, params or however you wish to, and by that we could see that we are going to get the name and the transaction done with respect to the customer and all the details over here. And the thing we can see over here
Yeah.
as all the status history as well, whatever is there in the sandbox can be seen in the response as well. So you can see the amount, the status is authorized, the timestamp, the source, the user.
Yeah, so I think we can relate this with the one use case, like support when the transaction is going to transform into one state into the another state. So ideally, we should get the, it must be the webhook kind of the implementation. So the event driven through which we can able to get the status. But as I said, it is not yet ready. Okay, so here by using the transaction find only, like suppose someone is asking, okay, I need to do the refund of these transactions. So once you are going to initiate the refund, the prerequisite is to execute the transaction find, check the status of that transactions. If it is not happening, okay, means give the user friendly error. Okay, so that is the way we can do the designs or implementation. But if suppose you are not taking care, you are directly going to do the settlement, Braintree connector has this capability. They are always going to check the status implicitly, okay, and they will give user a very user friendly message. We'll see that. Quite website.
Yeah. So here we are going to search the transactions with respect to the status of them. As we can see that, as Rajiv has mentioned, there is a scenario where we void the transaction. So for now, we haven't done any we haven't voided any transaction. So I suppose that if we try to check the status for the transaction which has been voided, okay, there are some transactions which have been voided. We can see over here.
Yeah, so this is similar to our customer search. So on the basis
Yeah.
of the different transaction search criteria, this can be also implemented. Okay. So if you see into the connector,
Transaction find, transaction search as well.
yeah. So
Yeah.
here if you go, I think we have done on the basis of go to the search on the filter one. I
Over
think
here.
in the filter one we have done. Yeah. So here we have done on the basis of this authorizing, authorized, settling, settled, void. So maybe if you can send settle this authorized one, so we can be able to get okay. So we have configured to search this on the basis of the status. Like suppose I wanted to see all the transaction which has been authorized. Okay. So by using this setting, we can be able to get the list of that. And suppose this is good for the reporting kind of thing. So if it is authorized, which means this must need to go for the further processing, which is settlement. So we can be able to consider sometimes happened we need to do the manual processing. So we can search it on the basis of authorized. We can put all the transactions in a some file and we can do for the batch processing to send the settlement, these kind of things.
Yeah, thank you, Rajiv. So rest of as Rajiv has mentioned some of the functions where he has mentioned that we are going to void the transaction. There are two more scenarios where in certain scenario we have to refund a certain amount back to the customer, which is nothing but a refund. And there are some certain scenarios where we have to refund some partial amount to back to the customer. So that transaction we could have seen as partial refund, and inside settlement there are two types, which is nothing but a full settlement which completely settles your amount, and as well as the partial, which we can be related to the partial refund where we refund a certain amount and here we just settle certain amount. So let me show you first how to void the transaction through the code. So let me go here, take the unique identifier, take the unique identifier of the transaction which we have initiated. We pass this and the success. Okay, so here it should reflect and say that the status should be changed to void. Let me go here. As you can see that before the void one, it was authorized. The status was authorized. Now it's been changed to void. Yeah, you can see it over here. The status has been changed to void. That means the transaction has been nullified.
Yeah. And if you go to the transaction history there in that page, now you just refresh this.
Yeah, I've refreshed it, Rajib.
Yeah. So here you also see at what time it was the authorized, okay, and at what time it was voided. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So the next stage, if we don't have to nullify the amount, the next stage, what we are going to do in the payment was to partially or fully settle the amount. So now this one has been void. So let me create a new transaction to show the scenario where we partially settle and where we do the full settlement. So let me take up a new name over here. Let me go with Ajay. Okay, 1301 vault. Refresh the vault. Okay. So J has been created, and we can see that the amount is authorized. The amount is 560. So we are going to perform an operation on transaction. So this is the unique identifier for that. So let me copy this. Go to transaction full settlement first. So here we need to provide the ID. Just hit the request. So it's changed to success. As we can see, the status has been changed to submitted for settlement. So gradually the sandbox takes a bit of a time, which he performs the backend operations to check whether the amount given for settlement and all of rest of those, and it takes certain amount of time to get the amount settled. So once the all the processes backend processes are completed, the status will be changed to settled. As we can see, we have created this example before so that it could be shown.
Yeah, submitted for settlement means this transaction qualified for the settlement, and because this is the sandbox free tiers, okay, so they have the certain zone they are going to take. So sometimes it take, but during the productions, if you are going to use it, so they have this every interval of the 2 hours and 4 hours, their job is going to trigger, and it is going to pick all the authorized transactions which qualified, and they start processing to do the settlement. Okay, so here in the free tier sometimes happens it is the sometimes quite easy. Maybe we are fortunate at that time the batch job is running. Sometimes it's take quite. So because in order to do the refund, okay, full or partial, we need make sure that the transaction state must be settled. So we have already settled one transaction well in advance on which we are going to show the demo to the full and partial refund. Yeah, we say go ahead.
Yeah, thank you,
Yeah,
Rajiv.
Rajiv, we
So
have one more question from Abhishek. Can
yeah,
you
Yeah,
answer it?
in the
sure.
chat.
Yeah, Rajiv.
Can somebody share the API spec for transactions? Yeah, definitely. We can able to share.
Yeah,
Definitely.
sure.
You can continue. Meanwhile, I will share Abhishek.
Yeah, sure, Rajiv. So as Rajiv mentioned, for the partial and the full settlement, so the difference between the partial and full settlement is that, as we can see that we have done the full settlement. Full settlement settles the complete amount for the transaction. So as we can see it over here, it's 560 USD, which was the complete amount which is submitted for settlement. So in the partial, the only difference which we could find over here is that we just need to specify the amount which has to be settled. So this is the request body which we have designed. So you can see that we need to provide the customer ID with respect to which customer the transaction was initiated and the amount to be settled. So if I go to this, to me take up a name. Okay. So the first thing is that we need to pass the unique identifier for the transaction which we are going to perform a partial settlement to, and the amount. So we are specifying 100 USD that should be partially settled. So as you can see that this is success. Let us go back over here. As we can see that submitted for settlement is 100 USD. The amount initiated was 560. So let me go to the transaction history. As we can see over here, the authorized amount is 560 USD, and the amount which we have specified for settlement is 100 USD.
Okay. So on the same transaction, just try to do the partial refund of the 600, na? Or maybe the 500. So we can also
Yes,
able to see
sure.
the one error scenario.
Okay, sure, Rajiv. Let me take up the same transaction ID, and it's yet to get settled. So let me take up a full refund.
No. Just do the again the partial settlement only. Again, yeah, partial settlement of the 500.
Okay. You want me to do a partial settlement on 500? Sure, Rajiv.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let me go with 500 box.
So see the error. What the error we are going to get. See,
Cannot.
submit for settlement unless a status is authorized.
Yeah.
So, which means that it is submit for no. I think you have done on which, yeah. So that status has been changed. So from the 500, it was the authorized. Now it is submit for settlement. So on the same, see, we cannot able to do the against settlement. So this is the one scenario for the error scenario. Yeah, go
Yeah.
ahead.
Yes, sure, Rajiv. So even as Rajiv has mentioned before, to submit a settlement, to refund an amount, the amount should be settled before. So if we try amount which is yet to be settled, like the same transaction which we are going to take, it is in a state of submitted for settlement, it is not yet settled. So let me try to hit a refund over here. So we can see the error scenario over here. It says that success is false and it will specify a user-friendly message saying cannot refund transaction until it is settled. So to initiate a refund, the main criteria which need to be passed by a transaction is that it should be settled. And as the Braintree Sandbox takes some amount of time to get the amount settled, we have a predefined example where we have created and where the amount is settled. So let me take this transaction with the unique ID of the transaction. Let me specify this. Okay, and I'm initiating a full refund. So let me initiate this. As we can see over here, the success is true. That means the amount should be refunded back to the customer, and this transaction status should must change. See, as you can see it over here, first the transaction which we had initiated was sale. That is, we are paying a certain amount of amount to the customer where we settle the amount, and once you initiate the refund, it's nothing but it's initiating the transaction back, the complete refund whatever the customer has paid back to the customer.
Yeah, so here the type, if you can see the first, the settle type was the sale, which means the sale happened. Here the type is getting changed to the credit, which means it is also going this using the same process of the settlement. So it is all submit for the settlement, but this settlement is vice versa, which means from the merchant to customer, and that settle happened from the customer to merchant. Okay, so once it is the credit, it will always you are going to get the minus. So which means it is getting settled from merchant to customer.
Okay, so there is a last scenario which we have come we are in, that is nothing but a partial refund where we have to just refund certain amount which we have received. So let me, as we know that we cannot perform the transaction unauthorized or submitted for settlement amount. So here we have a pre-example as well where we have settled the amount. So let me take this transaction ID. And as we can see it over here, it's 1016, and we are refunding the half of the amount. So the transaction is for 500. So let us refund $100 back. So let me initiate a transaction. Success. So as we can see, the sale initiated was for 500 USD, and the refund which we had initiated was a small portion of that amount, 100 USD. And with respect to the transactions, if we go into the code section, so there are all the direct connectors provided by the Braintree. That's nothing but the transaction wide, where you just have to specify the transaction ID, which we have mapped dynamically in transaction ID field. The similarly, it goes to full refund and whatever has to be done in partial refund. So partial refund, there are two things which we specify: transaction ID as well as the amount which has to be given back in a small portion. So this is it, guys. I hope I was able to convey as much as possible. So is there any doubt regarding this?
Thank you, Abhishek. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah,
Maybe if any, we can open the floor for the Q and Priya.
Mm-hmm. Abhishek, can you show me the configuration of the connector once?
yeah, sure. Just a minute. We can see it over here.
Okay, merchant ID public. So we don't like we are not using any token kind of thing here, right?
Correct.
Yeah,
We are not
correct.
using any token. Yeah. So this is the one of the method which we have opted by using the connecting by using the API keys. And these API keys is nothing but combination of the merchant ID, public key, private key, and the environment.
Okay, okay. So for every merchant, will it be unique?
Correct. Every merchant it will be unique. So once
Mm-hmm.
the merchant is going to register on the PayPal, so
Mm-hmm.
they are going to ask, okay, like how many merchant you need, because see, it could happen like one merchant. I'm taking the Amazon, okay. So it has the different reasons, okay, maybe for UK, US, India, like this way, okay. So for one merchant, they have the different sub merchant as well, okay, and they have the so for each sub merchant for UK, India, US, they are going to generate the this combination of the uniquely. So merchant first need to onboard it PayPal, then they are able to generate for them.
Okay, okay, got it. Thank you. So do we have any other question from the participants?
Maybe in the last, I think, you have said, can you just stop your
Yeah,
sharing?
sure. I'm doing that.
Let me
Sure, I
know if
just stop
you're able
sharing.
to see my screen. I think the one last things I wanted to show. Let me know once you're able to see.
Yeah, it's visible.
Okay, so I think here we have showcase the how the things will be going to happen, like the like single connector, like by using the use case, how we can be able to relate the things. Suppose I'm going to create the customer, going to update the payment method. We are going to transaction sales on the basis of the output of the transaction sales. Okay, maybe I can. Yeah, I can be able to call, like, see here it is the transaction sales is happening. Here I am checking it is the if it is payload is success true, which means that on the basis of that, I'm storing the transactions ID. On the this transactions ID, I am checking the what is the value of or what is the state of the transactions ID. So I'm storing the status, okay, whether it is qualify for the partial treatment or not, partial settlement or not. On the basis of that, I can be able to call submit for settlement or submit for the partial. Okay, so by using this, we can able to implement into the use case similar to we can able to do for the void one. This is the wide one. We can also able to, like, we are creating customer, we did the payment, okay, we did the transaction sales, Okay, and on the basis of certain criteria, here I have chosen just for the example at a success true, so we can be able to do the cancellations, or like, or maybe we can also include the find, like suppose when the transaction or for certain kinds of the things on the basis of certain filter criteria, if anything which is coming from the this AMX or maybe Visa, I need to cancel that transaction. So we can be able to depict as per our the flow or business requirement. Okay, so this I wanted to show. Okay, coming to our PPT. Yeah, I think we have seen the very basic one. Okay, in the advance, maybe into the upcoming one, in the one more session, so we are going to see how we can facilitate a transaction into multi vendors. Okay, how we can able to, like, by using as a kind of the omni channels, we can able to do it. Okay, and we all know the subscription based service or recurring payment that is widely used. Okay, so that we can also able to see how we can able to integrate the mobile wallet, this kind of things. It has also the how we can, like, do the fraud check. Okay, how we can do the customer notifications in that. Okay, it has also capability to do the payment by using the voice commerce integrations. Okay, it has also the 3D secure or biometric authentication. So there are lots of the use case which is there by using the this Braintree or payment gateway, we can be able to get it. Okay, so I think already Subham Priya has shared this our the details. You can able to connect to us. Feel free to reach us any times. Okay, if you are required help or anything. I think we have done from my ends. Now floor is for you for any open questions. Priya, I think over to you.
Yeah. So, do we have any question, or are we good to close the session? Yeah, I think we don't have any questions.